a moment, grab a snack and a drink. You're gonna want it because today I am speed reviewing 51 of the newest products that I've tried and tested from Sephora. Yes, 51. I think this is the longest that I've done. Now, if you're new to my channel, my speed reviews series is one that I hold close, near, and dear to my heart because I've made a promise. Every single product you see me use on my channel, I will come back to you with an update on it after testing it in multiple ways with multiple wears and multiple products. Sometimes it takes me a long time to get to them, but I do get to them. And today is specifically themed around the newest Sephora products that I've tried. Some a lot newer than others. But all of these are available at Sephora with the upcoming Sephora savings event. So this could be a great resource for you to check out some thoughts on the newest products at Sephora. We're going to go ahead and get started with complexion in the primer category. So the first one that I have is from Milk Makeup. It's the Hydro Grip and Glow Primer. And boy, do I have some updates for you. Now, I take a lot of pride in the fact, and I'm pretty proud of the fact, that for the most part, my first impressions don't stray too far from what I think after using a product many times. This one, I feel like every time I've used it, I have liked it less and less. And I liked it quite a lot the first time that I used it, but it needs to hit right with the right foundation because this can be a little finicky with some foundations and cause the foundations to peel up a little bit and look very scaly. So just be careful with that. I do think, generally speaking, if you are a fan of the original Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer, you will enjoy this one. This leaves almost a metallic glow behind. There's a little bit of glitteriness to it. I don't think it's very cute on its own, but with its sticky consistency, you probably wouldn't want to wear it on its own anyways. It's just like the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip consistency with a little bit of glimmer, metallicness, and it does show through underneath the foundation without actually looking glittery. If you like a glowy finish and you like the OG Makeup Grip Primer, you will probably like this, but I don't like how funny it is with some foundations, so I don't really like it that much. It's one of these products where I will probably end up using this up because it does come in handy, but I definitely won't be repurchasing it. The next primer that I've ended up really liking is from Huda Beauty. It's the Easy Blur Primer. I like this because it actually feels somewhat hydrating. And I feel like when I use this, the makeup goes over smoother and it looks more blurred as well. It does exactly as it says it's going to do. So if you like a silky application with makeup and you like being as blurred as possible, I mean, who doesn't? I think you'll enjoy this. I've been liking this one a lot, particularly when paired with the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation. Now, if you're looking for natural skin-like wear and finish, not your girl. This one is pretty full coverage, and it looks like makeup on the skin, but not necessarily in a bad way. It just doesn't look skin-like. But I really love the coverage that I get from this. I think it looks very smooth and blurring as it's supposed to, and it lasts a long time. Less is more with this foundation. I do find that when I apply a lot of it, it does look a little bit cakey, so don't apply too much, but if you get it at that right amount with the right primer, it's beautiful. I, for one, enjoy this a lot for more event styles. Like, I'm not wearing this on the daily, but for days that I want my skin to look smooth, I like this a lot. I haven't talked about this one too much, but I've been enjoying it a lot on my channel and in real life, not just on my channel. This is the LYS Beauty Foundation Stick. There just hasn't been an opportunity on my channel to talk about it a lot, but I love how it blends into the skin. It's really easy. It gives about a medium coverage with a natural finish, and it again looks really smooth and perfected. It's lighter than the Huda Beauty. It has a little bit more of a healthy glow than the Huda Beauty, but this is a gorgeous, it's an everyday foundation. Like, I would love to use this for every day, but for the everyday person who likes some coverage, you know, not light and skin-like, medium coverage, smooths everything out. This is quite beautiful. It's not a professional at being long wear, okay? It's not the longest wearing, but it also isn't short wearing. Just after a while, it can look a little bit heavy if you apply too much, but with proper primer, proper prep, and so long as you're not wearing a marathon, it's a good one. I'll be honest, this next one has been in my speed reviews drawer for a while, but not because I didn't like it. I actually love every time that I reach for this. It's more of a summer product, but this is the Fenty Skin Hydra Visor Hues Tinted Moisturizer. It gives a light coverage. It looks really healthy on the skin, and it does add that benefit of SPF. I love wearing this for quick makeup days. You guys know I go to Spanish class in the evenings now. When I just need a quick throw-on look, I have been using this. I think it wears pretty well also. I mean, with it being lighter coverage, it's difficult for the wear to be bad, but when I want something light coverage, comfortable, and hydrating with a little bit of SPF, I've enjoyed reaching for this a lot. I can be pretty picky when it comes to SPFs and tinted moisturizers, but this is a good one, and I love the packaging of it. Historically, I have not been a fan of Bare Mineral foundations in the past. So this is the Bare Pro Skin Perfecting Matte Liquid Foundation. I do need to be careful with matte foundations given that I do have dry skin, but this is a solid foundation. I would say by far it's probably my favorite from the brand. It's not knocking my socks off, but it gets the job done. It's a medium coverage finish. It's matte as well. And as long as I don't apply too much, and if I have a nice hydrated base, I think this foundation gets the job done. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think it's bad. It's a good foundation, but does it stand out in my collection? No. When I'm done with this, am I repurchasing it again? No. But of Bare Minerals foundations, I like this one a lot. I need to test their powder one. It's been years. I wonder what I would think about the powder one in this day and age, but I've historically not been a fan of their liquid foundations. Just FYI. This one, I honestly had to force myself to use because it just doesn't fit within the kind of routine that I have for myself. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Unreal Skin Sheer Glow Tint, which is advertised as a foundation, but is way too glowy to be a foundation. If you ask me, it's like the Airbrush Flawless Finish in a stick form. What I like this for is underneath makeup for a little bit of a glow, or today I literally use it as a highlight over my foundation. That's how glowy it is. My girls with pores and fine lines would understand that this is a tragic story for our skin if we're talking keeping it bare. I can get it to work on bare skin. It takes a lot of powder and a lot of concealer to kind of cover it up a little bit. But other than that, like, the quality of it is good. It's just not a foundation for me, so I haven't wanted to reach for it. Another one that pains me to say I don't love it is from Patrick Ta. This is the Major Skin Hydrolux Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. It is entirely too expensive and does not sit on the skin very nicely. Now, I can get it to work. I can get it to be where I like it. However, I feel like with the initial application, it sits on top of my skin, attaches itself to the little baby hairs on my face. I need to go in with a sponge and really take the extra time to push it into the skin for it to look nice. Now, it does look like a skincare infused foundation. I can feel the hydration. It gives it really pretty, gorgeous glow, but I just think it is way too expensive for the quality of formulation. I really have mixed opinions about this. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. That's why I just think it's too expensive, because I should like it all of the time. But it does give a really nice hydrated, dewy look to the skin, but it also doesn't set down. My face remains sticky with this, so I have a lot of like baby hairs and hairs flying around. So safe to say that these stick to it. So for my hair type with all these baby hairs, it's not a good combination. I think moral of the story with this is I don't recommend it. It's not horrible, but I don't recommend it. Another matte foundation from Too Faced, the Born This Way Soft Matte Oil Control Foundation. Definitely am recommending this for my oily skin friends because this can look dry on me on a dry skin day, on a day where I have not been drinking enough water, because generally speaking on a good skin day, I like this. It's medium buildable coverage. It lasts a very long time as well, but if it's a day where my skin is dry, this is no bueno. Not good on me at all. So I like it though. I think it wears really nicely. It's a good foundation for oily skin. And the last foundation that I have for today is the Dior Forever Skin Perfect Foundation Stick. Yes, 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 yes. Probably, I'm looking. I think it's my favorite foundation that I'm talking about in today's video. Dior, in my opinion, creates the best foundations. With it being a stick, you can really customize the coverage that you get, where you get the coverage. It doesn't feel heavy. It looks skin-like while still providing up to a medium coverage. It lasts all day. It's very comfortable on my dry skin. Yeah, not a bad word that I have to say about this. This is easily one of my favorite stick foundations that I've ever tried. Do yourself a favor and pick this up if you like skin in a stick. This will give it to ya. Moving on to powders, which has in the last recent months been quite the popular category. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to share with you, and there have been many more that I haven't even tried. Let's talk pressed first. The first one being a new color range from Kosas in the Cloud Set family. So they launched a light pink one, a peach one, and a yellowy kind of one, just for deepening skin tones down that range. I love the formula of this. I have always loved the formula of this. It is very lightweight. It sets the makeup. This color, this light pink, I was excited about, but honestly, it's not as pigmented as I was hoping it would be, nor is it as brightening as I was hoping it would be. It's pretty sheer, so it doesn't show up any different really from the other powders that I have from the line. So while nothing bad to say about the powders, the color didn't really have enough impact for me. I was excited because Tower 28 also launched their Get Set Pressed Powder. I have the translucent shade and Palisades Pink, which is a light pink. Unfortunately, this didn't end up being my favorite powder formulation. It's not bad, but it's not worth repurchasing. It just sometimes looks a little bit dry. I just feel like it emphasizes dryness. It's what I look for in a powder. It pretty much only is it gonna blur? How blurring is it? And also, does it just make my makeup look better? And it's a no to both. Not bad, it sets the makeup, gets the job done, but nowhere near anything remarkable. Now, this one has grown on me from my initial review from Too Faced. I believe the first time I used this, I was like, I don't really notice it doing anything. But this is the Too Faced Born This Way Soft Blur Flexible Finish Setting Powder. I have found myself reaching for this one a lot, and that test of time is super important, and I've ended up really enjoying the way that this not only sets my makeup, but also touches up my makeup. It does have a soft blur. It's not the most blurring powder I've ever used, but I find that it really holds on to the oils well, and it's blurring enough to keep me happy. I especially like it for the forehead area. It's not a plus on the under eyes for me. I do have powders I prefer to use on the under eyes, but this one for just setting and touching up. Do you see how that just made the pores pretty much disappear? It's an awesome touch-up powder, so happy to report back that I like this even more than I initially told you guys. Been using this one a lot, and I just feel like every time I use it, my makeup looks so much more fresh. I do have to say though, when it comes to the creation and the technology being used in creating loose powders, they have gotten very, very good. So Laura Mercier, who is obviously known for creating one of the best loose powders of all time. We have the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder, Ultra Blur Tone Up. I happen to have mine in the shade Rose. I've always thought the OG was quite honestly is still quite honestly to this day, one of the best loose setting powders. It has some heft to it, but it's very blurring, and it really has some great oil control. And so they launched this Ultra Blur. Is it more blurring than the original? I don't know. But it's definitely not less blurring, so it still is one of my favorite powders. And I do think this Ultra Blur, they're kind of trying to push to the forefront as their main powder, and it certainly does everything that I want it to do. So having this added into my collection again, I have once again, for the 100th time in my lifetime, re-fallen in love with the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. And now they have fun shades, like Rose and Honey. Next up, LYS launched their own powder. They have been launching products left and right, have they not? So this is the Resilience powder. I have mine in the shade Translucent. Honestly, it is not translucent, you guys. This darkens my concealer, so I can't use this as much as I would like. It's very lightweight, and it does have a nice blur to it, but the fact that it darkens my makeup is a red flag to me. I absolutely cannot bake with this. It will completely change the color of my makeup. It's fine when I use a dense brush to place the powder, but yeah, the fact that it changes color has kind of off-put me from this, but the formulation itself is pretty nice. And then probably my favorite loose powder of recent times is the new Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. This is a very blurring powder. I use the shade 2 Neutral Light. Comparing it to my all-time favorite, which is the Huda Beauty, this has a lot more body to it. It's not quite as slick feeling. Like, this is pretty thick, which I think makes it great for oily skin. And while I don't have oily skin, I don't find it to be too drying on me still. And I feel like with the body, it just does a good job of filling in the caved in areas, like my under eyes, for example. And it's beautifully blurring. He did a great job with this powder. No notes, really, just a nice one. Talking cream bronzers slash contours, I have two. The first one being from Ilia. It's the Sun Shift Cream Bronzer, and I was very excited for this because I do love the powder bronzer tone that I have from Ilia. Unfortunately, this one, maybe it's just the shade I have, Eclipse. It's a little bit red on me, which actually does look nice in the summer, but I just don't love the finish of this cream bronzer. It almost has like a metallic sheen to it, which I don't find to be the most flattering. It also isn't as buttery of an application I would like. It is not a bad product, but I just feel like nowadays there are so many other good cream bronzer formulations that this is one that, to be honest, when it reaches my main collection is not going to be intentionally grabbed for. I just don't love it. Not bad, but don't love it. But one thing I do love and will be very intentionally reaching for is from Dior again. They're expensive, but sometimes they create some of the best formulations, let me tell you. They're Forever Skin Contour. Personally, I use the shade Light. One of the most beautiful tones where it's not too cool toned, but it also isn't too warm. It's the perfect everyday nose contour for me. It blends in really nice. It has a hydrating feel. It lasts all day. Another product where I just don't have notes. I'm actually very sad that this is leaving my speed reviews drawer because it will be used less. At least when I'm sitting behind my makeup desk to film. No, I love this. Highly recommend. The tone of this, perfect if you're within my skin tone. It is no secret. I think everybody knows. So many blushes. This video is no exception. In fact, it has fallen victim to the amount of blush launches that we have. Okay, I have some older ones that I don't know why it took me so long to update you guys, but here we go. We have the Hourglass Unreal Liquid Blush. Beautiful, looks hydrated, has a serum-y finish to it, blends into the skin very easily. The shade that I have is Future. If you like a dewier cheek, you're going to love this. Hourglass doesn't miss. They did a great job with this. I don't love the packaging of having to push the bottom, but yeah, if you like Hourglass, this is awesome. You have to like that glowy finish. Huda Beauty this summer, I know it's been a bit. They launched the blush filters. Huda is on her blurring game. She loves launching blurring complexion products, and I'm not complaining about it, but that's kind of what these are like. As you blend them out, they almost blur the skin, have almost like a powdery, cloud-like finish to them. Very easy to use. Not a go-to for me. Not a formula that I'm consistently reaching for. Typically, I don't love a liquid blend out when it comes to blush, and these are very easy to use, just not my preferred consistency of liquid blush. But if you do like a blurred finish, kind of like a cloudy effect on the cheek, I think you will like these. So I don't have anything bad to say about them. Another one that I haven't reached for a lot because, again, I don't typically love like a thicker liquid blend out. These are more gel, I would say, but this is the ABH Blurring Serum Blush. So these are quite interesting. I have it on this side of my cheek, the shade Plum. I definitely don't have any notes for these as well in terms of being bad, but you see how pretty? It's like a gel, but it doesn't have a glowy finish. It almost blurs out and becomes whatever the finish of your foundation is. It's very nice, but practicality-wise, I don't like squeezing this onto my cheek. So when it comes to putting my makeup on mindlessly, I'm not reaching for these as much. So while I like them and they get the job done, not one that I'm probably going to purchase another shade of. Now, how I do prefer my liquid blushes, not really from squeezy tubes, but being able to apply it with an applicator. I have been messing around with the YSL Make Me Blush liquid blushes, and I don't want to pretend like they did not do an absolutely terrible job, particularly with the marketing of this shade. This is not going to work for most skin tones, and in the promo photos online, they made it look like it was going to work on somebody with a deep skin tone, and it's very clear that this just wasn't going to work. But I want to put that one aside because generally speaking, talking about the formula, these are a really nice, easy to use formulation. They almost blend themselves out, which is something that I look for when it comes to luxury products. You know, when people say, for that amount, it better apply itself. Well, I'm telling you, in some cases when it comes to luxury makeup, the products pretty much can. Like, you tap your brush out twice, and this is pretty much blended out. It works well over powder. I haven't had any issues with blending this over any foundations. Just a gorgeous blend out. It's sheer, but not too sheer. Talking about these shades. Yeah, that one was an outlier, that lilac shade, but the rest, I do really like this formula a lot. In fact, it's one of my favorite formulas that YSL has. Now, one of the secret showstoppers in today's video that I haven't really talked about a lot, but I have been loving, are the Cali Ray Blurry Blushes. The color range that they have is stunning. There's a little bit about the packaging that I don't like. It's a little bit messy because the product is all up on this applicator. It's like they don't have a stopper or something to clean up the wand. But other than that packaging faulty right there, this is a liquid blush that dries into a matte finish, and it does not budge. If you have oily skin, you have met your best friend when it comes to a liquid blush. This will last all day. It's very easy to work and blend out, but once it's set, it is not moving. I love everything about these liquid blushes. They are more matte on the skin, but anyways, they dry down like a powder, but then they don't move. Incredible. Love these blushes and the shades that they have too. So Nude Six actually came out with a collection with Glamzilla for her 30th birthday, I believe. And you know how I feel about Nude Six. I love their cream products. So I want to quickly talk about the collection. So we have the Dirty 30 blush. I love this formula. It's nothing new. It's one of the easiest to use, longest lasting cream blush sticks. If you like a warm shade, you're going to love this. But what is unique in this collection is the blush color Flirty and Thriving, which is half bronzer, half blush. Now this is interesting. It's pretty inefficient to blend the bronzer and blush and have them look separate. Inevitably, this kind of becomes like a bronzer color. So I do try to keep the bronzer side down and the blush side up, but it almost becomes a bronzer situation. And then I like to finish off the top of the cheek, the round part of my cheek, with the Dirty 30 blush. So it's not as efficient as you think it would be of being a bronzer and blush in one, but it's more of a bronzer situation. But I do love the Nude Six formulas. These are very pretty warm colors. They're going to be flattering on so many people. So I really like these, and I love the idea of that Flirty and 30 split blush product. Okay, I haven't used this a ton, but I'm just so familiar with this palette type from Makeup Forever. It's the HD Skin Blush and Glow palette that came out for the holiday season. I love these cream colors. They are very versatile. It's this color combination this year that I am not in love with. It makes sense. Cheeks are it right now. They are the most popular category and most high-selling category when it comes to cosmetics. However, the previous shades that they've launched were just more versatile. You can use them for color correctors, contour, highlight, concealer, foundation. This one, it's really just all cheeks that you can use it to, so it lost a lot of versatility. You can use it on the lips as well, I suppose, but this only contains blushes and highlights, more or less. So just much less versatile than the others. Quality is great. These are very versatile formulation, so I'm not even talking bad about the formulation. I'm just saying don't go for the one that came out this year. It's much less versatile than the ones that you can get that have things for cheeks. They have blush colors and highlights, but they also have skin tone color things, so you can contour, shade, highlight, everything with it. So love the formula, don't like the color combo this year. We also have the Fenty Beauty Fenty Cheeks Suede Powder Blush. These absolutely do have a very silky suede-like feel to them. You guys know I did receive these in PR, and to be honest, just the shades they sent me weren't to my taste, and that's not a complaint. I can easily go out and buy the shades that I want. It's just that I didn't think the formula was good enough to warrant purchasing more shades, even though I do have 4. They're very silky, very easy to apply. I actually like these more so for setting over a liquid blush. I don't have anything bad to say about them. They're a good formula. They're just more silky feeling than a lot of the other blushes on the market, so it actually is very easy to blend out. But there's a lot of good powder blushes out there on the market, and these aren't like a standout. They're good, and they're a great addition to the Fenty line, but nothing groundbreaking. I do have a cream highlighter. Just note, typically not a fan of that style of product, so there is that bias there to begin with. However, the LYS stick highlight is still very good. And I know a cream highlight is good when I like it, despite me not liking cream highlights. This one almost has like a wet texture to it, but it actually applies amazing over powder. I have like a full face of powder on right now, and it doesn't look patchy or weird on the skin. It doesn't break up the product underneath, and it gives a really pretty natural glow. And while even this one can't turn me to become a cream highlight lover, I can definitely admit that this is very good quality. It's more natural of a finish than I thought it was going to be, but really great for dry skin because it does also sit very hydrating on the skin. Dior, part of their, I guess, holiday collection from the backstage portion of their line, they launched a new glow face palette in the shade Celestial Glow. Now this one is a little hit or miss for me because there's this blue shade here that I'm not going to be reaching for a lot. There's this glittery shade which just isn't my cup of tea. It's way too glittery. And the pink and orange are probably my most used so far. I didn't like the colors initially of this in my review, but they've quite grown on me. They're very natural. They have a easy blend into the skin. So I like these two shades. Half of this palette really isn't going to be used too much by me. My recommendation is if you are interested in a glow face palette from Dior, I recommend the other shades that they have. I just like those better. I use all of the shades in those. This one, it's 50-50 for me, so I like these palettes, but not this particular color story. Gucci Beauty also launched a very expensive highlighter. Now, whenever I buy Gucci Beauty, it's definitely a treat for me. I love the whole experience of the brand and the packaging. Is the Gucci Glow Highlighter Multi-Use Silky Illuminating Powder. Now, I picked up the shade Sunrise Gold 01. Don't pick up the shade Sunrise Gold 01. This is a weirdly orangey, reddish pink shift highlighter, which was not described on the website. I believe it was described as a champagne shade, like champagne gold. No, I don't know if you can see, but there is literally a pink shift in this, which is not what I was expecting. It does not look very flattering on my skin. I'd recommend the other shades if you're willing to put forth the money because it is expensive, but it does have a really buttery, seamless glow onto the skin. It will never look patchy. It's a beautiful gel feeling like highlighter because that's how thin it is and how it goes nicely onto the skin. But don't get the shade. I don't think I will purchase any more shades of this. I got my fill with this. But if you are planning to, avoid this one if you don't like a pink/red shifting highlight. Finally getting these out of my speed reviews drawer, and you know, I will talk about these every chance that I get from Hourglass. It's their Holiday Ambient Lighting Edit palettes. Quick run through, you already know the drill. For lightest skin tones, the Dragon palette, probably my favorite. I prefer more for cooler looks. Now for something more punchy on my complexion is when I would go for the Evil Eye palette. You have some brighter shades in here. And then the Lotus Flower just isn't for my skin tone, so I haven't reached for it a lot. Though this blush, stunning, but yeah, not for my skin tone. Regardless, if you're considering picking up one of these, absolutely do it, especially if you can get that Sephora savings discount. The best powders on the market, cannot be duped, blend into the skin so easily. I'm gonna stop because you already know I love them. The best purchase one can make during the sale, if you ask me. And then the final product that I have for complexion is from Makeup by Mario. It is his Surreal Skin Soft Setting Spray. And I like this. Setting sprays are a bit hard for me to review, to be honest, because it's kind of hard to tell if they do anything or not. But I do feel like this has helped my makeup last longer. And it also has properties to it that I think makes my makeup look more hydrated as well, which is very hard for a setting spray to be 2-in-1. I think in both regards, it is more on the subtle side. It's not going to be this immaculate transformation, but I do think that this is a handy dandy setting spray. It doesn't go one way or the other too much, so I have a hard time really telling what it does. If you want the longest lasting setting spray, Urban Decay. If you want the glowiest setting spray, Peach and Lily. Or is it Lily and Peach? But anyways, those are kind of my go-tos for knowing what a product will do, but this seems pretty middle of the road. I like it. Anyways, that is all I have for the complexion portion of this speed reviews, and you are going to have to tune back in tomorrow where I will finish off this review of 50 plus products with the eyes and lips section. Sorry to keep you on the edge of your seat, but it will be worth the wait, I promise. So check back in tomorrow to see part 2 for the remaining products in this speed reviews video. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it and make sure you're subscribed to my channel so that you can check out part 2 tomorrow. If you've tried any of the products that I mentioned in today's video, make sure you comment in the comment section your thoughts on them. I'll have all of the products that I talked about today linked down below along with the corresponding shades that I am using. And that's that on this part of the speed reviews, right? Yeah, 51 products. I'll see you guys tomorrow for part 2. Bye guys, have a good one.